What's up, guys? My name is Veronica, also known as Coach V, and I am your host for the Oversharing podcast with Live the Dream Media. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Oversharing podcast. I'm your host, Veronica, also known as Coach V. It is Tuesday morning, and your girl feels good. I had a really nice, slow morning today. It was just so nice. I had time to put makeup on, do my hair, all the fun things, and get myself ready for a really good episode today. We are going to do a quick little mini-sode before we bring our guest on to kind of just catch up, chit-chat, talk a little bit about the Tucson coffee tour. I did go to Crema Coffee today on Ina and Thornydale. I am trying to be hormone friendly, so I got myself a little bit of a tea instead of doing coffee because I'm on my luteal phase. Those of you that follow me on Instagram, yesterday was a little rough, guys. Between Valentine's Day session on Sunday, that was 2 classes. It was so much fun, lots of energy, lots of people, lots of socializing. And then I went home, made some guac, went over to a Super Bowl party, which was also a lot of fun. And then I realized, I was like, wow, it seems like my hormones are finally starting to level out after my miscarriage back in November, which November, December, January, February, about 4 months, which is what I hear is what it usually takes. I wasn't thrilled to be so freaking tired yesterday, but part of me was like, oh, thank God. I feel tired. This is usually the sign that my body's getting ready to start its period. So it felt good to be like, hey, it seems like I'm kind of getting back to normal. So I was exhausted. I came home after morning clients. I literally vegged out in bed from like 8:30 to 1:30, in and out of sleep, did not get out of bed. And even when I woke up after, Ernie was like, damn, you still look tired. I was like, dude, I'm exhausted. But it was good. Finished my evening clients, went back home, got to sleep in again today. And I just had myself a really nice morning. So I wanted to make sure to remind you guys that your body can't tell a difference between running late from one place to another or being chased by a bear. Stress is stress. So try to set yourself up for a nice, calm start to your day. I know that's hard, especially when you have kids, when you're running around from place to place, but it's so important to get your nervous system to calm down and get you ready for the day because, again, to your body, stress is stress. That's pretty much the recap. I know we'll talk a little bit about other things, including the Super Bowl with our next guest because I saw him at the Super Bowl party on Sunday. And I did want to share something with you guys. I have been following a few different podcasts, and Mel Robbins has been a name that's been coming up a lot in a bunch of different platforms, TikTok, Instagram, as a guest on a few podcasts that I listen to. If you guys have a second to look up her book called The Let Them Theory, I haven't read it yet, but I've listened to her on a few other podcasts talk about it and the theory of letting them. I don't want to get into it because I feel like this is also something that we can talk about in the episode today, but it is so many good listens. She has so many valuable nuggets for women, for people in any aspect of your life. So make sure you guys check her out. I listened to her on the Girls Gotta Eat podcast. It was the most recent episode released on Monday, yesterday. So make sure you guys tune into that. Again, so many valuable nuggets there. With that being said, we're going to take a quick sponsorship break and then we'll come back with our guests. We'll be right back. All right, guys, you guys know that I have been gluten-free for a few years now. It was a hard transition at first, but that all changed when I met the owners of Gourmet Girls. They are amazing. They are located on North Oracle Road. They have a full gluten-free menu as well as an amazing bakery. I love their biscuits and gravy, and if you have a little bit of a sweet tooth, you gotta go in and check out their gluten-free cupcakes. Mine is definitely, my go-to is the carrot cake, and Ernie knows that when it comes to holidays and birthdays, he's got to go over there and get myself a sweet treat. They've got sourdough, pizza dough, gluten-free almond flour tortillas. They've got everything and anything that you need if you are gluten-free. They are amazing and locally owned here in Tucson. Make sure you give them a visit. Again, they are at 5845 North Oracle Road. Tell them Veronica from the Oversharing podcast send them so they know that we send you guys. So thank you so much, Gourmet Girls, for being a sponsor on the Oversharing podcast. It's the new year, and the team at Pursuit Fitness is ready to help you reach all your health and wellness goals. With over 14 in-house personal trainers, as well as an in-house PT, an amazing top-notch facility, and modern equipment, you can be sure that you'll find a trainer that is a perfect match for you. We cannot wait to work alongside you in helping you reach your fitness goals this year. You can find Pursuit Fitness on Instagram at Pursuit Fitness AZ, or call them directly and visit their website at pursuitfitnessaz.com. This episode of the Oversharing podcast is brought to you by About Me Hair Studio. With 2 amazing locations in Central and East Tucson, the About Me team is ready to style and serve you. Whether you need a new cut, color, or style, the amazing team at About Me is ready to make this experience all about you. Mention Podcast 10 and get 10% off your first service. I'm really excited to tell you guys all about Golden Roofing AZ. It is the perfect time to get your free roof inspections through the winter so you're not caught scrambling through the dreaded monsoon season. Golden Roofing offers services on any type of roof, tile, shingles, flat, and metal. Make sure you let them know you heard about them on the Oversharing podcast to receive 10% off your repairs. You can find them on Instagram at Golden Roof AZ or contact them directly with their website. All right, guys, we are in for a treat on today's episode. Our guest today is a musician, singer, songwriter, and performer. He has made debuts in Tucson and some of the best local restaurants, bars, and venues. I'm so excited to have him on for the second time. The first time we did record in my living room. So please welcome back to the Oversharing podcast,
That's
Erick
crazy.
Cricket.
What's up, y'all? How you doing? Thanks for
Erick
having me
Grillo.
on. Is this my camera?
That's your camera. I'm allowed to call you Cricket because remember, that's what I used to call you when you were at the gym.
That's
I'd be like,
right.
Cricket.
Yeah, my name means cricket in Spanish.
In Spanish.
Yeah.
Most people that listen to the podcast are bilingual.
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 How are you today?
Way. I'm doing great. I just got out of the gym, actually. I'm enjoying this delicious coffee that you got me.
We got to talk about it. So my Tucson coffee tour started last week. My first stop last week was Sonoran House.
Okay.
And then people recommended a few different ones, but I didn't have time to go to the other ones.
Local shops only?
Local shops only. So we went to Crema today, right here on Ina. Nice. I got a tea. You got an iced Americano.
I love iced Americanos. I just love espresso, period. Just
what does
black,
that taste
no
like?
Sugar, no
just
cream.
Nothing. Oh, that just
it tastes like
burns
coffee.
my throat.
Yeah. I mean, I like bold and bitter tastes, so
yeah.
It's my vibe.
Bold and bitter is a vibe.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been great, honestly. I'm living the dream, yo. I've been, I guess I've been doing music for...
Yeah, David's on it.
He's like, bah, 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 bah. This is awesome. Just to, I'm LTD. Yeah, I've been doing music for, I guess, 2.5 years now, and it's been such a beautiful journey. I feel very blessed, honestly.
Yeah. It's been a good... I mean, for me, it's been cool to see the evolution of it because I met you back in 2020 and we can kind of dive into how you got to Tucson in the first place because that's a story within itself. And then the transition of becoming an artist. Before we get into that though, tell everybody where you're originally from and then we'll kind of go into like how you got to Tucson.
So you already know my story. But,
I do, but everybody else doesn't.
Yeah, so I'm Cuban American. I'm first generation Cuban American. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. First in my family to be born in the United States. And yeah, I lived in Miami up until sometime in like 2017, early 2017. I moved to Maui, Hawaii, where I lived in Lahaina for about 3 years. And then I moved out to Tucson, Arizona just before the pandemic. The entire time, well, not the entire time, my life is a whole movie, but for the most part, I was a personal trainer and I own like personal training businesses. And the reason I moved out to Tucson is actually to help Kevin Anderson, our mutual friend, which is how we met actually, Open Pursuit Fitness.
Yeah.
And then I guess 2 years after moving here, after going through a breakup, but then also after having like a little house party and like playing some music for friends, people being like, yo, you should be a musician. You shouldn't be a personal trainer.
When was that? Were we at that party? Because I feel like at one point you had like a little, I think it was like a holiday party.
Surprise birthday party or something for, am I allowed to curse on this podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Fuck yeah, you are.
No, I feel like it was a surprise birthday party for Brian or some shit like that.
Okay, cool. I remember you always playing the little ukulele. That was like the first thing that I remember. Like I remember you training at the gym, and I know that there was some kind of transition. But before you picked up, I remember you were like playing the guitar. There was like a little ukulele that you used to play, and I was like, "That's so cool."
Did I ever bring the ukulele to the gym?
I think you did. I few times.
I feel like I did. Yeah. I started playing guitar when I was 9 years old, I believe. Right around the time that Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park's debut album came out, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I picked up the ukulele probably sometime in like 2015.
While you were in Hawaii?
A little bit before Hawaii, actually. A little bit before Hawaii. But yeah, by the time I was in Hawaii, I was pretty proficient at the ukulele. It was fun.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I was at one of those parties, essentially, that it was, we had the guitars hung up and what have you. But like, I pick up, rather somebody was like, "Do you even play guitar?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I
Yeah,
think
dude.
I played I think I played like Justin Timberlake's Mirrors or some shit like that. And people were just like, "What the
The
fuck?
hell.
You can sing and you can play guitar? Why are you a personal trainer? You should be a musician." And then I remember being like, "That's not even a real job, a musician. That's
Yeah.
not." And then fast forward, here we
Here
are.
we are.
Yeah.
Well, there was definitely like there was a transition of growth there, I remember. But I do remember the breakup.
Yeah, you're one of the. It's so funny, man. Like I feel like all of the people that I met when I first moved here that were like my core group.
Yeah.
In Tucson, man, that has transformed over the time that I've been here.
Yeah.
Because I love you guys, but I just don't see you guys
No,
anymore
I
because I
mean-
have just a completely different lifestyle now.
I think the hardest part about what you do and what we do is that you're up till 2, 3 in the morning and we're literally waking up 2 hours after that. So
Deadass.
I think we've seen you a few times at a few restaurants,
Right.
like near the beginning when you first started really kicking your music journey off. But it's hard to get out there when you're at fucking playground at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like I live downtown too, so that whole lifestyle of like being an entertainer, being a musician, is completely different than the lifestyle that I had before that you guys have of being like a personal trainer, someone that's focused on health and wellness. You know?
I think that was one of the things, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I thought this and we didn't talk about it, or maybe we did talk about it, but I feel like at one point you were tugging between both things.
Right.
And I think that we might have talked, and I was like, dude, you're putting these two lifestyles that I'm not saying they can't coexist, but it's going to be really exhausting for them to coexist.
It was impossible because it's like you said, like I guess the lifestyle of being a musician does beg you to be up later and not even on like some party rock star shit, even though like for real, that's definitely part of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the 2 a.m. like the networking that happens at the after parties is insane.
That's the networking.
Life changing.
Yeah.
You understand? And this is like people that are essentially going from the club to like someone's house or to like another spot, and you meet some pretty amazing people and like. Being out in the music industry and being at those after parties is how I've made the best networks. But you have to be up at that time.
Yeah.
You know?
So when you come to Tucson, you train for a little bit. Remind me what the timeline was. It was like 2 years after that when this surprise party happened. You pick up the guitar.
Surprise party happens. People get in my ear about it, and I kind of just like brush it off for a while.
Yeah.
And then I remember. My ex at the time, I don't even care to use her name, but I mean, I have nothing but love for
Yeah,
for her.
I know who she is.
Yeah, exactly. So my ex at the time was really like in my ear, like, yo, like, cause she had no idea that I guess like I sang or like played guitar like that. Because it was a part of myself that I kind of just like sheltered because I didn't think that it was I guess productive.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't think I could make a career out of it or be somebody.
Yeah.
And that's all limited mindset and what have you, you know? So it took a lot of work to get that limited mindset out of me. But definitely my ex at the time or my girlfriend at the time was just drilling it into my head. And then eventually I guess through that, she convinced one of my personal training clients, which was like one of the bartenders or like bar managers at the Arizona Sands Club. Shout out Arizona Sands Club, which you guys don't know. It might be, it's actually like a country club inside of the U of A football stadium.
Yep. It's like their season ticket holder lounge, right? Okay,
so
cool.
She dropped an ear in their like booking manager's she dropped the word in like her booking manager's ear, and then I had my first gig there.
Yeah.
And I think that was like October.
Were you so nervous?
Of 21.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's just like people always ask me if I'm nervous, and I'm not nervous. I don't get nervous. Like not to sound like so, like, I don't know, like cocky or arrogant, or I'm just very certain about who I am. And I've always been that person that's like on stage, like performing for real. But I wasn't really nervous. No, I just, as soon as I got the gig, I just put my head down and I developed like a 4-hour set list. And I ended up only performing like probably like 2.5 hours of that because I did take a break and what have you. I remember a lot of people showed up for that gig. A lot of friends. It was like a table full of like 20 people type shit. You know? And it was awesome. And then at that point, they booked me the next month. So at that point, I had only one gig, but then I had to wait another month. And then I remember just putting it up on my Instagram like, hey, I'm a trying to transition into music. I'm trying to do more gigs. If anyone has a place where I can perform, let me know. And then Megan, the Tucson localista,
who has been on the podcast.
Jeez, yeah, I love that girl so much. Another friendship that I guess used to be a lot more like, we used to see each other a lot more, Megan. I don't know what happened. We just kind of, it is what it is.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's all over the place.
Yeah, she
I think
is.
there's
So
an
am I, to be
evolution. There's an
fair.
evolution of friendships.
Yeah.
This is a good like little segue, but I don't think that it means that those friendships are gone. It just means that you're in a different place in your life, and that's okay. And I talk about that a lot on the podcast where I'm like, I have a lot of acquaintances, but I have probably a group of like 10, 12 people that are always, right there. But I also know that some of those acquaintances, if you want to call them, like if I needed something, they would be there. You know, like seeing you on Sunday at the Super Bowl party, I was like, that was so awesome. And like, it felt
And the cool
normal.
thing is you pick up where you left
Yeah,
off.
you pick
for
up
the
where you
most
left
part.
off.
Yeah.
Most friendships do.
Exactly.
The
Most friendships.
transactional ones are the ones that are like, oh, well, you haven't
Yeah.
texted me and I'm not going to, and I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, which is weird. Is a weird part of adulting or like being an adult is
Yeah.
that like certain friendships become transactional.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's another conversation. So
That's a lot of conversations.
Yeah, right. Megan, the Tucson localista, got me a gig at Borderlands. And then at that point, I had 2 gigs. So by the end of the year of 2021, I think I had played like 2 or 3 gigs.
Yeah.
And then I remember November or December of 21, I sat Kevin down because the whole reason I moved to Tucson was to
help the gym.
Help the gym, yeah. I sat him down. I said, hey, man, just to let you know, I'm going to be really focusing on becoming a full-time musician. And that must have been around the time that we had our conversation about like, you can't do both type shit because it does pull you in 2 directions. So at that point, I'm doing like math and because I've been self-employed and I've been an entrepreneur for like most of my adult life,
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I do that as a musician? Shedding all that limited mindset around like being an artist and making a living out of it.
And I was going to say making like wanting to pursue a dream that is, I mean, and I don't want to sound mean, but it is far-fetched, but also being like, okay, how am I going to do this in a way that I can still live?
Yeah, correct.
You know?
Not only that, but like you have to also think about like, it's not just like, I don't want to just live out of it. I want to excel. I want to be great. So it's all a lot of that, a lot of meditation on that. But no, I sat down with Kevin and he was incredibly supportive.
He is.
He always is. I love that kid so fucking much. But yeah, so then after that, I was already living downtown. By that time, the relationship that I was in that moved me into music was over. It didn't end horribly. It didn't end like tragically. There's no bad blood between us.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't talk to her whatsoever anymore. But it's just one of those things where it's like, damn, the purpose of that relationship, I guess, must have been to like start my music path. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I've been on record saying this multiple times, but like one of her parting gifts was an essential piece of my like setup, to be honest with you. She gifted me my my PA system that I've been using at my gigs,
Yeah.
which I've like since then I have bought like way more equipment and what have you, but like it was a very lovely and kind thing for her to do as we were breaking up. That kind of was like, damn, she really believes in this dream of mine.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I guess in a matter of like 6 or 7 months, I became full-time.
Yeah, because I went to watch you at the one in Catalina where you can see like the mountains.
Is it Noble Hops?
Noble Hops.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we went with like Maritza and Gloria, and there was like
so
a bunch
nice.
of girls, and that was I think one of the first times that I saw you like out, and I was like, oh my God, he's so good. I think you're
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
A lot of people think you're great.
Thank you.
How did the community in Tucson, like you talked about how like the connections happen after 2 a.m. when people are going to the after parties and getting together. So like, how did some of those connections that you built after going to play build in Tucson? Like, how did that community start? Because you're working with a few people that are very well known in Tucson.
Yeah. I'm so blessed. First of all, like I'm very thankful and grateful for everybody that I've worked with. And there is an infinite list of people that I could be grateful and thankful for. So if I don't name you, I apologize, but off the top of my head, I always think of fucking Alexis Walters the Don. I love you, motherfucker. You're the goat, bro. La fucking cabra, okay? But no, deadass, I was, this was before I even had any gigs like that. I was just walking around downtown. And I didn't even know downtown at that time.
Yeah.
Like the pandemic is we're just opening up from
dead.
the pandemic.
Yeah,
exactly. And so, like literally, I know nothing about downtown. I'm just walking around like, where can I perform at type shit.
Yeah.
And I see guerrilla marketing, which is like, people just posting up flyers everywhere.
Yeah.
Of like this safari themed club party. And it's like safari animals and like wild shit, right? And it's called Zafaera. Walter's the Don. Yeah, exactly.
En
and I was
español.
like, fuck, this party looks dope as fuck. Walter's the Don. Who's this kid? And I texted him immediately on, like, I reached out through Instagram, yeah.
Yo, you
I
slid into his
DM'd him.
DMs?
I slid in his DMs.
This is a bromance in the making right off the bat.
I said, hey,
you want to meet
papi.
up after 2 a.m.? Pair you up?
No, I was like, hey, yo, that Zafaera party looks lit. I want to go. And he's like, bet, pull up. You know, and it was like a good exchange. And I was like, all right, cool. I remember I got dressed. I came out to the clubs, and little known fact about me: I have zero experience with club culture up until moving here. Like I've never been clubbing or anything like that.
Yeah.
My club
one
culture,
thing you need to know: in the club, we all fam.
in the club, we all fam. This is low key true, unless someone tries to fight
Wait,
me
what
or
is
something.
club culture? I need to know. What?
I mean, I don't.
Clubs
I
since I was
can't.
like 21.
You have to, yeah, I guess I don't. There's no way for me to explain it like in a few sentences.
Yeah.
What I'm referring to is like I had never had that experience. Like
Yeah.
I'd never been out clubbing. I never waited in line. I never knew a DJ.
Yeah.
I never fucking went out dancing.
Yeah.
Like not even in Miami.
Yeah.
You know,
I
which
forgot
is
that you were
another part of
raised
my
Jehovah's
lore.
Witness.
Exactly. Another part of my story is that I was raised a fucking Jehovah's Witness. I was raised in a cult, y'all. But anyways, that's a whole nother therapy session. So I text Malters and I pull up to the club, and we were not fam at that time, dude, because the line was never ending.
Yeah, you're like, I stood
And
out
no
there
one let
for a
me
whole
in, and I was
hour.
like, damn, this is bullshit. I just went home because I was like, I ain't waiting this shit.
I quit.
I quit, bro. I'm going home. And so I went home. I texted him the next day, and then we ended up just texting, and we met at La Chingada for like brunch or something, and I just like word vomited all my goals and dreams and aspirations to him, and he did the same thing back, and like ever since then, me and Walter's the Don just fucking
Yeah.
clicked. And he's a Sagittarius just like me. I know some of you guys don't believe in that shit.
You're
Fuck
like, but
you.
I do. But I do.
believe. My fucking moon is in Capri Sun, okay? And my sun is in asparagus.
My rising sun is in the microwave.
Exactly.
I do believe in some of that stuff.
I definitely believe in like natal charts and birth charts. I don't necessarily believe in horoscopes, but either way, yeah.
I think compatibility through horse. I do believe in it because I feel like
Absolutely.
Ernie's so calm. He's a Capricorn, and I'm not, and that works for us.
I feel that.
Anyway.
I always get along so well with Sagittarius, which is like
Yeah.
why I think Walters and I have worked so well over the years. But we've collaborated on so many projects over the last 2.5 years. And then now we're working together at Yes Good Pony, which is like a local record label that we've started. And we also released a song on the record label called Divino. Walters and I and Il45, which is another engineer at the label.
Hey, David, is there any way you can pull a clip of that and put it over? It's a Divino. It's with
Yeah,
Eric.
it's on-
So if you can
it's on
figure that out in the
Spotify,
next
Apple
couple minutes,
Music.
we can kind of play a little bit of
All
clips
right,
on
let me
it.
look up in here.
Yeah. Look it up. I put it over your.
It's CK, by the way. I'm heartbroken.
Sorry, I'm typing fast.
Stop being a diva.
There I am. Oh, and then
one?
Divino's that
Yeah.
song.
Okay, here,
That's
let's,
the one I played over your post.
let's rock it real quick.
All
Oh,
right,
shit. Yeah, you did play that over the post.
I
yeah.
did. I was like, hey, this is the song. I do like this
The
song.
little play button next to it, no?
Sepa la chinga.
Did you play?
It's not- Give me a sec. I'll get it.
It's all right. We'll get it in a
That's
second.
okay. But either way, we released that song. That's my first song that ever did over 100,000 streams
On Spotify.
Spotify. That is my first song that ever got featured on a Spotify editorial playlist, which
That's
is
amazing.
a huge fucking deal. People don't
Yeah.
realize how much of a big deal that is because you're not in the music industry.
Yeah.
But that's like in the 90s getting your song put on in like international radio.
Yeah.
Like deadass. I was put on Novedades Dembow by Spotify, which is a huge deal. It's like Viva Latino. It's like fucking Rap Caviar. It's like
Yeah,
today's
yeah.
topic.
All right, I'm
Like
in.
those-
He's
shit,
in. Play a clip. Oh, that's Walter the Don?
This is us at Playground. Yeah.
I love
I'm
that.
dead.
You look so happy.
Hey, a ella le encanta cuando yo le canto. They're like, you gotta rap over this shit. I was
You
like,
guys gotta listen to this song, guys, when you guys get a second. We won't listen to the whole thing, but it's good. Hey,
this part right here.
Hey.
Sí, sí, ya sé, mami. Gusta salir conmigo, siempre es un open bar.
Hey, I want this to be on the record that when you do get big in LA, I had a podcast with Erick Look at you.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to come back and do this podcast. The fuck are you talking about?
You better. Thanks, David.
Yo,
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that song was featured on Spotify editorial playlist, and to be honest with you, that is probably the achievement that I'm most proud of
so far.
Correct.
It's not the only one. There'll be more.
Correct. I literally cried when I got that email from Spotify.
I was literally going to ask you. I was like, how did you find out?
Yeah, I got the email from Spotify the day after the song was released. You know, I submitted the song.
The day after the song was released?
Correct.
That's quick.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to tell me like within a few days or a few weeks.
So the song was done months before, you know, but I submitted the song to my distributor probably like 4 weeks or 5 weeks before the release date. And at that moment, the reason why you want to send the songs early is so that Spotify has a chance to listen to it before
and be
it's
like,
released.
oh, okay, this is going to be good.
So then when an editor hears it, they're like, yo, put this shit on the playlist.
And
that is incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah, I love it.
That is incredible.
That's a good place to quickly pause. We're going to go to a quick sponsorship. We'll be right back. Pause. All right, guys. You guys know that I have been gluten-free for a few years now. It was a hard transition at first, but that all changed when I met the owners of Gourmet Girls. They are amazing. They are located on North Oracle Road. They have a full gluten-free menu as well as an amazing bakery. I love their biscuits and gravy. And if you have a little bit of a sweet tooth, you got to go in and check out their gluten-free cupcakes. Mine is definitely, my go-to is the carrot cake. And Ernie knows that when it comes to holidays and birthdays, he's got to go over there and get myself a sweet treat. They've got sourdough, pizza dough, gluten-free almond flour tortillas. They've got everything and anything that you need if you are gluten-free. They are amazing and locally owned here in Tucson. Make sure you give them a visit. Again, they are at 5845 North Oracle Road. Tell them Veronica from the Oversharing Podcast send them so they know that we send you guys. So thank you so much, Gourmet Girls, for being a sponsor on the Oversharing Podcast. It's the new year, and the team at Pursuit Fitness is ready to help you reach all your health and wellness goals. With over 14 in-house personal trainers, as well as an in-house PT, an amazing top-notch facility, and modern equipment, you can be sure that you'll find a trainer that is a perfect match for you. We cannot wait to work alongside you in helping you reach your fitness goals this year. You can find Pursuit Fitness on Instagram at Pursuit Fitness AZ, or call them directly and visit their website at pursuitfitnessaz.com. This episode of the Oversharing Podcast is brought to you by About Me Hair Studio. With 2 amazing locations in Central and East Tucson, the About Me team is ready to style and serve you. Whether you need a new cut, color, or style, the amazing team at About Me is ready to make this experience all about you. Mention Podcast 10 and get 10% off your first service. I'm really excited to tell you guys all about Golden Roofing AZ. It is the perfect time to get your free roof inspections through the winter so you're not caught scrambling through the dreaded monsoon season. Golden Roofing offers services on any type of roof, tile, shingles, flat, and metal. Make sure you let them know you heard about them on the Oversharing Podcast to receive 10% off your repairs. You can find them on Instagram at Golden Roof AZ or contact them directly with their website. All right, so I know that we are on like a good steadfast of acomódate, acomódate.
Acomódate. Yeah, no. Esta gorra la tengo. Aquí estamos. All right.
Do you remember when you had cheetah hair?
Bro.
We can just skip past that real quick.
I don't want to talk about it.
Why are you going to skip past that?
I don't want to talk about it.
Hey, okay, hold on.
I don't want to
You
talk
know
about
that
it.
like now that you're like trying to be a musician, like people are gonna dig for some shit. They're gonna be like, "What the fuck was this kid doing to his hair in 2020?"
Hey, keep digging, yo.
Hey, part of me, low key, when like I think about like the podcast growing, I'm like, what are people gonna pull up? I got some stories.
I got stories too, but I'm not ashamed, yo.
Nah, it is what it is. It's all growing pains, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I was
Also,
a victim.
I was in a toxic ass relationship where the girl I was with at the time literally wanted to control how I dressed, how I did my hair, everything.
Can I also go back and say that this is the same girl
This is
that
the same
gave
girl
you the
that-
sound thing and was the encouragement
correct.
of your music?
Which is the definition of toxic, right? I mean, it's like ups and downs and like you're addicted
it's
to it. type shit.
narcissistic. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I
mean,
think she was very
granted,
sweet. I just think that me and her didn't get along, and that's
Right,
okay.
right.
And I don't think it was because she did anything or I did anything. I just think we just didn't vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking
I mean, I have
of
a lot of love for
relationships,
her, but
What's dating like I mean, I don't know if you're dating or not. I think you said you're kind of not dating.
yeah, I'm not really dating right now, to be honest with you.
That's
I'm
totally
kind of
fine.
just focusing on myself.
What was dating like as a like upcoming musician?
Man, I can say
madhouse,
so much.
man.
I can say so much about dating. I don't even know how much I want to say on air, to be honest with you. But I be wilding out with you one-on-one.
Yeah, we
but
do.
as
We
a
do get deep.
musician,
We had some really good conversations about
Listen.
breakups, Anyway, keep going. As a musician.
it's exactly what you think it is, okay?
Yeah.
The girls want you like crazy, okay? The guys
And you're like,
too,
and
by
that's
the way.
fun for me.
I have insane stories.
Wait, I
But-
want at least one story.
On the air?
Yeah,
Oh my
just
God.
one. It doesn't have to be terrible. You got to give me
How
one
insane
story.
is it? I mean, how crazy
I
are we
need
gonna
one
get?
DM story, like the craziest shit that someone said to you via DM, and then one other story.
I mean, I don't even know where to start. They all start blurring together.
Come on, man.
Okay, here. How about this? Okay, I got a funny story.
Okay.
I got a funny story. No names.
No names.
Okay. It was a Sunday. I was
Okay.
performing a brunch gig in Oro Valley.
That means this is God's day.
This is God's
This
day,
all happened
y'all.
on God's day.
I fucking hate that I'm doing this on a podcast. You're only gonna get one story because this is a
one
good story.
Okay,
This is a good
on a
story.
Sunday in Oro Valley.
And I'll show you the receipts later.
Okay.
One-on-one, okay? Because
I
it's
believe
hilarious.
you. Okay. I already
So,
believe you.
I have been performing with Danny Ocean's drummer and his guitarist.
Okay.
I played a couple songs with his guitarist, but I've been doing a lot of gigs with June Medina. I love you, June. He's like a brother to me now. He actually just proposed to my best friend yesterday.
Aw, that's amazing.
So thanks to the fact that I became like really good friends with June, I've got to meet the band and what have you, And that Sunday I was going to go meet like Danny Ocean and his band in Phoenix, okay? Because they were performing at the Footprint Center.
Got it.
And I'm like, okay, I gotta fucking finish this brunch gig. And then I
book
gotta
it.
drive my ass up to Phoenix because I'm gonna meet people that are gonna change my life today.
Yeah. Today is the day.
And
Have you seen? Hold on, pause. Don't forget the story. Have you seen Nemo when the star gets off the thing and he's like, "Good morning, everybody. Today's the day." And then he just like sticks.
basically is where I'm at, right?
I'm dead.
And Sunday's the day that I'm exhausted because I usually am playing like my 6th, 7th, or 8th gig of the fucking week.
Yeah, you're going Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Correct.
Sunday.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday
That's
type
rough.
shit. And so I am getting ready to finish my gig. Okay, it's 2 o'clock is approaching, and I get a text from a girl, and it's a selfie of her and another girl
Oh my god.
on top of each other,
On top of each
wearing nothing. Talking
You're
about
like, I guess today's
what are
not
you
the day.
doing? And I was like,
Today is not
I'm like, I
the
gotta go
day.
see Danny Ocean right now, dude. Like,
This is I'm so sad. Today's not the day.
I'm like, I can't do this today. Can we please take a rain check?
Can you guys send this message tomorrow? That fucking sucks for you.
And they're like, oh, so long story short, they were very persuasive. And
You didn't go to Phoenix?
I did go to Phoenix, but I made a pit stop first, like in the Gates Pass area. As a matter of fact,
Shout out TPD, Sheriff's Department. Don't make it out. All these things are gonna come out.
they're very convincing. They're very convincing, to be
Que
honest.
cochino. I love that for you though. Hey, you gotta live
That
a
was too
musician
much?
life.
Was that too much
No,
for the
not at
pod?
all. Are you
Okay,
kidding?
cool.
We
Because
talked about
now everyone
assholes and
thinks,
parasites on here. You
oh,
have
that's
it.
cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
But no, as you could imagine, as a musician, dating, I don't know.
That's hard because now you like. If dating is hard enough without being a musician, I can't imagine having to weed out the people that just want a transactional relationship. Because
Like at the same time, like, look, whether you're a musician or not, right? Just human beings, dating is difficult, right? And just human beings, we go through phases where we do want to date with the purpose of finding a significant relationship, aka a life partner.
Yeah.
We go through phases where we don't want to date and we kind of just stay to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And literally see nobody. And then we also have phases where we actually do have casual sex.
yeah,
It's this thing that happens.
Yeah.
For the most part. And so as a musician and as someone that's aspiring for a dream or a goal, like all of that, I feel like, it becomes a lot more amplified, especially on the side of like, when you're getting a lot of attention, you really have to have the discipline of just saying like no, for lack of better words.
I love that.
Because there's an abundance of it. So like, not to sound arrogant or cocky or whatever the fuck, right? Because this is where people are like, oh, fucking poor you.
Yeah.
You know? But because there's an abundance of it, it matters less to me. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, because
So it's just
I
like,
feel like that can be translated to just the way that we operate through social media. Like this is a growing thing. Like, and I always really appreciate the recognition from like at the Valentine's Day event, women that come up to me and like, oh my God, like you're doing so amazing. We love watching. Like that feels very genuine. But like when there's people on my Instagram, like sliding in, like I will say like males, and I'm not stupid, neither is my husband. Like when people are sliding into my DMs or like sending hard eyes and shit, like, the attention is there, but also you have to like look past it. Like, what kind of attention are you trying to get? You know, and is it good attention? But I feel like that also blurs a line between like posting for others and posting for yourself. Like I post for me. I post to document the cute fit. I post to document the memories, you know, and I can see how like when it's an influx of it, you're just like, it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter to me.
And, and also all the hard eyes and the likes and the comments and shit. Like, I think it's it gives this like false image that we have options. And in reality, these people that are sending us likes or comments or hard eyes or reactions, like they're not really options anyways.
Yeah. And also it's lust. Like, I think that there's a big difference between lust and
by the
love.
way, timing is everything, right?
Yeah,
like maybe at some point in time, lust is okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if you're looking for a relationship, then you do have to differentiate between someone that just wants to get in your pants and someone that doesn't.
Yeah. I feel like that's the other thing too, is like I tell Ernie all the time, like I go out with my friends and I have a good time and like I'm always wearing my ring. I'm always hanging out with the girls. I'm really friendly. I am. I'm like, but it's not my fault if you confuse my friendliness for flirting.
Correct.
That means that you probably liked me because I'm funny, but I'm just funny.
Say is I'm not flirting.
I'm just funny, dude. I'm cool.
What I like to say is I'm not flirting. I'm just hot and talking.
I'm hot and talking.
I'm hot and talking, bro. Sit down.
Ernie's like the least, like he's like, I don't even care. Like
because like if you have no reason to be like jealous or to not have any trust, then there's no reason to. And then like I guess the highest form of like love is just letting your partner be themselves and do whatever the fuck they want to do because you know they're not going to fuck you over.
Yeah, our relationship works the way that it does because of that. I always tell people, I'm like, if you can't be yourself or have little bits and pieces of who you are in your relationship, it's not good for you. Like, and I've been both. I've been the person that has been in a relationship has completely stemmed away from her friends. Luckily, those friends took me back, and now I'm luckily in a marriage where Ernie goes and golfs and does the things, and I go out with my friends, and it's fine. I always come home. Like I never. The only time I've never not come home, I stayed at his mom's house. I was like, hey, like we're all fucked up. We're staying at your mom's house. He's like, cool. I'll see you in the morning. Like, I just think that being able to be yourself is such a key factor in a relationship. And usually, what happens is you already know that you've lost yourself, but you think that it's going to come back, and then by the time you look around, it's been like 6 months, a year, and you're like, damn, I'm still in this. And I can't even be who I am.
Yeah.
You know?
Very sad.
Very sad. I would guess the oh shit moment was like when you got that email from Spotify. But the question was how have you had an oh shit moment, something that happened that has shifted your perspective from musician to being recognized? And what did that feel like?
Yeah, I would say like definitely the Spotify thing was huge, like I said. And then also like performing at Dusk. Performing at Dusk Music Festival was a big moment for me, although it didn't, for some reason, it wasn't as big emotionally as the Spotify placement. Yeah, it was just like, I remember thinking to myself that I was going to be nervous to perform at Dusk, and then
you got there and you weren't.
I just come alive in the lights, dude. You know
You're like, I'm an animal, bro.
I'm a fucking savage. Yeah, it's true. I literally performed at Dusk, by the way, in red leather pants.
I saw.
And in a BDSM harness. I was shirtless, but I was wearing a BDSM harness.
That's the most Eric thing I ever did see.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, and people were fucking screaming the words to my song.
Yeah, you were like, what the hell?
And I got off stage, and this is going to be a fucked up joke, but I'm a comedian, okay?
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I lean over to Alexis Walters, and I said, bro, I get it. I know how Travis Scott killed those people, bro. Because you can make anybody do anything with a mic, dude. I'm like, give me a mic right now, bro.
We could start a riot. Oh my God.
No, it's a fucked up joke. You know? I do love comedy a lot, you know.
I think comedy has been a source of healing in your life.
Yes,
You've had a crazy story.
I do. I have a wild fucking
when
story.
you go to the next step of your life and then get super big and then you come back, we can talk about the wild life because then you'll be like, this is where I am now, you know?
Yeah, what I've always said is like, my life is a fucking 6-part Netflix series or some shit, yo.
What is the biggest challenge you have faced as a musician and how did you get past it? Like your moments of doubt. I feel like you are super sure of yourself, and I feel like that's normal because I like to think that I'm super sure of myself. But I feel like sometimes
it's definitely been training.
You get those little nuggets in your ear.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely super self-confident. that's been like years of like self affirmations and working through shit and working through like therapy and self work. But as far as like, what was the question again? Like, essentially, like
the biggest challenge you faced.
Yeah, I think it might have to be, honestly, the only thing that comes up is like the discipline that goes into being an artist, you know, because like it's very easy to become distracted.
Tell us about that, because I feel like when people think musician, we just think,
I mean, the perfect example.
We think gigs, right? We think gigs up till 2 a.m, wakes up whenever, goes and gigs again. But there's obviously work on the back end that we're not seeing. So what kind of stuff
I mean,
are you
and let's
doing?
not even talk about the admin work, right? Let's not talk about like the Grillo LLC work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's not talk about that. Let's literally just talk about the art. It's incredibly easy to perform my gigs Wednesday through Sunday every week, and every single night go out and hang out with other producers, DJs, artists, and fucking get drunk and stay up until 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then sleep in until noon and do it all again the next day. That's an incredibly easy and very comfortable thing to do. As a matter of fact, I am extremely comfortable in Tucson, okay?
Yeah.
What isn't easy is having the discipline to be like, hey man, I'm actually, just to let you know, which is something that I'm doing now, is I'm sober. So I'm sober off of everything, right? I've been sober basically since May, with the exception.
Good for you.
Thank you. With the exception of like, obviously I don't have any addiction issues.
Yeah.
So Thanksgiving, I let it rip. My birthday, I let it rip. Like Christmas, I let it rip, and New Year's, I let it rip.
That's hard, dude, in the industry.
Everything else, I'm sober, and I'm not scared to talk about it.
Yeah.
Why? Because I just feel better, dude. I just feel better. And
because
guess
in
what?
the industry, it's something that you see all the time. These people aren't staying up till 4 a.m. running on adrenaline.
Yeah, dead ass. And then it's also like a I don't know, like a point of entry, if you will, you know, like
into other things.
Yeah, well, not only that, but I mean like
a way to downward spiral your dreams and ambitions.
Right. Like if I'm in the room with like, you know, somebody, and they're like someone in the industry that I'm trying to do work with, and they offer me a certain substance, and you say no, that's already like a, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I mean by, I guess, like a way of like kind of breaking ice sometimes. And that's what happens a lot of the times, to be honest with you. But either way, I would say discipline to sit down and do the work, aka songwriting. Songwriting is not sexy. Producing music and sitting down is not sexy. There's an image that people might have of like songwriters and producers in the studio, like just like fucking smoking J's, hella fucking girls in the back, like twerking or some dumb shit like that. And no, it's literally like finding the right fucking snare, finding the right kick.
Like
and then
80 times before until you get it.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, oh, how about if we change this line to that line? It's like, and you're spending so many hours on perfecting your craft. And that's the difference, I think, between like, you know, someone who is the greatest artist in the world and someone who is a local artist that doesn't get out of the local circuit, is that it's so easy to just kick it back and like have fun with your friends in your local town because you're a big fish in a little pond.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in being a big fish in a little pond. I want to be the little fish in the big pond.
And I want to be a big motherfucking fish.
Bitch, okay? So yeah, the discipline is hard, and to be honest with you, it's been a struggle for me, for sure.
It's like, I feel like,
especially when you have girls texting you like, hey, you want to come
over?
Yeah.
You want to come over? Huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like,
both of those.
Shit, dude.
You're like, actually, no. I'm on my way.
No, it depends on my mood. Obviously, in this story, it was a yes. But I've had plenty moments where I've basically been sexually assaulted by women because I've said no. Okay, several moments, more than I can count on one hand. I'm like, no, what the fuck? It's just called boundaries. Damn,
I'm writing.
And then it's just like dudes. They get just like dudes. When you say no enough, they're like, well, fuck you. You're ugly anyways. I'm like, what the fuck? You just wanted to get at me this whole time, dude. What does that say about you, bitch?
I never heard of it backwards. That is hilarious.
I swear to God, I've done that so many times.
Dang. Dude. Girls are wild out here.
Yeah. I love seeing that side of women, to be honest with you.
Honestly, me too. You go, girl.
Fucking savage.
Hey, don't get this podcast confused. You're showing a woman empowerment podcast.
My bad.
Good for you, girlfriend. Tell them.
I'm sorry. I was sexually assaulted.
Hey, welcome to our world. I'm just kidding.
This is true. It's not that bad.
No,
it's not that bad.
I think you like it a little bit.
It depends if it's consensual. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, okay. What the hell?
My bad, dog.
What if you could put yourself in a room with
I'm
a
musician?
musician?
Girl, you know?
Dude, we talked about this on the last time I had you on the podcast.
Deadass, yeah, I've actually...
If you guys can, go back to like one of the very first episodes that we recorded at the little townhome. There's an episode with me and Eric, and I think we just talk about dating and women in general. And you guys got to listen to it because he was raised by basically like all women. So he has a very sensitive side.
Yeah, I've had so many women's, I'm dead. I've had a lot of women tell me, Eric, you're a lesbian. I think you're a lesbian in a guy's body. And I think that's hilarious. But I love who I am. It is what it is.
If you could be in a room with one artist, I think I know who it would be.
Damn,
but
it's very difficult.
One artist, just to kind of see the way that they like. Okay, you get a week with this artist. How they record, how they write, what they do. I guess
that's
Bad Bunny.
Very, very, very difficult for me.
I guess your boy Benito.
That's very difficult for me. I'm stuck between Benito or John Mayer, to be honest with you.
I think Benito's more.
I would have to do Benny, just because I want to see what his workflow is like, and because he's on the top of the world. But then you really have to start thinking about like legacy artists like Bruno Mars and shit like that.
I do love Bruno Mars.
You know?
Did I tell you the story about when I met Bruno Mars?
No, you didn't met Bruno Mars.
This is a good story for the podcast.
Damn.
This is a really good story. This is a good story. It'll give me time to shine. So back in was when me and Ari first started dating, 2017. I went to one of my best friends, went to school at UCSF. So I'd go see her like once a year. We'd stay for the weekend. And we got some Bruno Mars tickets cheap. We got them for like $60-$70, but they were like in the rafters. Crazy, like up there. And we just got them to be like, do something. And then we're going to go to the bars after. Well, a bunch of things go wrong. We get there late. The Uber drops us off on the opposite side of the stadium. It's at like where the Warriors play. Mm-hmm. My friend gets stopped at security because she had pepper spray in her bag. Like it was like a whole thing. They finally let us through. And right when we're walking up the escalator, these two guys come up to us and they're wearing like their 24 karat magic.
Oh yeah.
Their whatever the badges were.
Yeah.
And they come up to us and they're like, hey, they're like, do you guys have tickets? And we were like, yeah. And they're like, do you want to upgrade your tickets? And I was like,
upgrade?
Yeah. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, we'll give you these tickets. You give me yours. We'll swap. And I was like, that's kind of sketch.
That's shady as hell.
And they were like, we'll walk you to the door. And I was like, fuck it. They can't be any worse. Like we're in the rafters. So they walk us straight to the front of the line. They get us past security and they give us the tickets. I didn't even look at them. They just switched the tickets.
And they were like meet and greet tickets? What the fuck?
No, they were not meet and greet tickets. Hold on.
Oh, Jesus.
It gets better. So the guy goes, okay, you're going to follow the girl that's over there. So we follow this girl. She gets there and she's like at the top of the first level. And then she goes, you see that girl down there, like on the ground?
Right.
She goes, you're going to give your tickets to her. She's going to tell you where you're going. And we're like, what the fuck? So I'm looking back at my friend and I'm like, what is happening?
Who the fuck were those dudes?
We get down to the floor and then she looks at the ticket and she's like, okay, follow me. And she walks straight to the front of the stage. The front.
Like front row? Oh my God.
Second row. We just keep walking, passing all these chairs, and I'm looking at her like, this is a joke, right? Like, this is a joke. And then we sit us, literally, there's like 16 chairs in the second row, right in the middle, all girls. All girls, not a single. The only people that probably paid for those tickets were the people right in front. There was a girl that was like a housewife from something that was there. There was a few people behind us that Elise was like, that girl's like, it was insane. Like this is in Oakland because we were in San Francisco, so we went over to Oakland. So the show is fucking amazing. Literally, he's right there. And the entire time, they're like making eyes at all the girls.
You're gonna see pictures of this later if you have any.
I have some. I'll show them to you right now. They're they're getting us to clap our hands. They put us on the Jumbotron all night long, right? The concert ends and my friend's like, I start getting up and she's like, sit down. She's like, I just have a feeling. Like, let's just wait. And I was like, okay. I was like, this is weird. They clear the building and a security guard comes and she was the last one on the left side. So security comes and stands by her. And then another guy comes and stands on the other end and just tells us like, hold on, like wait here for a second. They get everybody out of the building and they take us down backstage to like this room. We pass a closet, dude, and you can see all of his outfits hanging. His literally everything that he just wore, it like in a whole rack of like all the clothes that he wore. And I remember being like, what the fuck is going on? And we keep walking. They take us down to like, it wasn't like the Warriors locker, but it was probably like a different one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We walk in and there's this big ass guy. And he was like, all right, you guys aren't being held here against your will. You guys can leave, but if you decide to stay, we're gonna need all your phones. And we're like, fuck. I swear, dude, my butthole was like, I was like, there's no way. Like, what are we gonna do? And she was like, let's just stay. She was like, let's wait for 30 minutes. And I was like, okay, it was like 10:50. I said, if he doesn't show up by 11:30, if he doesn't show up by 11:30, I'm leaving. like if Bruno Mars cares who I am. So we give him our phones, and there's a full bar, bottles closed, sealed, like brand new bottles, mixers, sodas, everything. And they check our IDs, make sure everyone's of age, 21. And we sat down. And there was a girl right next to me at the concert who Bruno was eyeing her the entire time. She was gorgeous, bro. Like gorgeous. It was two sisters and she was just stunning. Stunning girl. Beautiful, natural, curly hair, like just beautiful. And she sat right next to me. So we waited, dude. And at 11:20, I shit you not, the door opens up. Bruno Mars walks in. He's wearing Nike slides.
Hell yeah.
Basketball shorts.
Hell yeah.
A white wife beater. And his hair was wet. Like he had just like rinsed off.
Got another shower.
He walks in, dude. And we're all like,
what the fuck?
I look at Elise and I was like, that's
fucking
Bruno Mars. He said hi to everybody. He sat right next to me because there was a space between me and the girl. So he said hi to all of us. And he sat right next to me, which was right next to the girl.
What did y'all talk about?
Dude, I asked him. So he was texting, and I was like, are you texting T-Swizzle? Literally, I said that to him. And then, okay, this is the best part of my story. You're like, I tell Elise this all the time. Like, no one has to believe me because there was one other person in that room that lived this with me. At one point, I got up.
Yeah.
I went to go get a drink, and it was around the time that Despacito was the song.
Poppin',
bro.
2018.
There's music going, right? The band guys come in a little bit later. They're hanging out with all the girls. The song Despacito comes on, and I was on my way back with a drink, and Bruno had gotten up to dance. I swear to you, he went like this to me as I was walking back. And I spin around, dancing Despacito, and I sat down, and Elise goes, crazy. You just danced with Bruno Mars. And I was like, I fucking know, bro. Like, it was crazy. I'll show you pictures. I don't have pictures of that. I have pictures of the concert. Of course,
yeah.
But I was even more mad at myself because when some girls left, they were like, can we get a picture? And he was like, yeah, sure. I was like, fuck, we should have just asked. But he left.
Fuck it. It's cooler that you don't have a picture. I think it's cooler that you don't have a picture.
Cool. And the band stayed, and he stayed for maybe like 20, 30 minutes. Like, you could tell it was like I'm going to do this for the boys. Like type for the band, you know, and then he left. But I didn't know that his brother played the drums for him. Like, it was insane, dude. It was like literally the craziest thing of my life. And now when I think about Bruno Mars, I'm like, I met Bruno Mars, and he's literally one of the best musicians of our time. Yeah.
He's literally one of the greatest musicians of all time.
And
not
entertainer.
Of our time.
Amazing.
Of all time. He's the only musician to ever achieve 150 million monthly listeners on Spotify.
That is insane.
No one has achieved more than that.
I love that. Not even Benito?
Nope. 150 million in 1 month?
I don't know, dude. I don't know about music.
I think he did 151, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
No one has ever done that.
That's my crazy story. That's my icebreaker when people are like, oh, what's your icebreaker? I'm like, I dance with Bruno Mars.
He's fucking amazing. Yeah, that's why I brought him up. I was like, yo, like, I get the Benito thing because of how personal it is to me, because I am a Caribbean and also, like, you know, musician, and I love all that type of music, and I love pop, but like, the indelible impact of Bruno Mars on music, culture, and history is
honestly, now that I think about
it,
like,
what has he not done?
I would choose Bruno Mars.
Yeah, what has Bruno Mars not done?
You're right.
Like, he literally released a song with a K-pop artist where he sung in Korean in that song. He releases Die With a Smile with Lady Gaga.
Like
this is all within like the same fucking month.
He's like,
and by the way,
the
longest standing #1 hit on the Spotify charts, by the way.
Which one?
Die With a Smile.
Die With a Smile.
And then he releases that song with Sexy Red. What's it called?
It's a new one. It's new. The cheerleaders know
Fat, Juicy, and Wet.
Yeah.
That song, you know? Which is like, you can really see, there we go, the whole fucking, dude, like, look at those 3 songs. How fucking different are those 3 songs?
That is crazy.
And then you have his older catalog, like, he's just, and then Silk Sonic, dude, and then, like, look at the work he's done with, like, Lucky Day.
Dude,
like,
come on, when we saw him, it was 24 Karat Magic.
Phenomenal producer and songwriter.
The production, I tell people all the time, like, we could talk a little bit about the halftime show. I wasn't a fan. I thought it was all right. Like, I feel
I'm
like...
not going to lie, immediate reaction afterwards was...
It was all right.
It was all right. But the next morning, I literally thought to myself, that might have been the most artfully done Super Bowl we've ever seen in our lives.
I think that there was definitely a lot of undertone in it.
The reason it didn't hit is
messages.
because there's not a lot of like pop hits off of that.
I think
Does
the
that make
thing
sense?
is, yes, but I also feel like when it comes to the Super Bowl, like for example, everyone knows who J-Lo is. Everyone knows who Beyonce is. Everyone knows who Bruno Mars is. I feel like when you're picking someone for the Super Bowl, it's such a generalized crowd. Not everybody knows who Kendrick is. Like I don't even feel like I know him that well. I know some of his songs, but I feel like it's hard to.
He's not necessarily like a global.
Yeah,
artist.
he's not like a global phenomenon. You know,
but I do think it was one of the best Super Bowl halftime shows we've ever seen, artfully speaking, in the sense of like the artsy fartsy stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I get that.
A lot of you didn't have the crowd going crazy like they did for Usher or Rihanna or some shit like that, because they have like timeless classics.
Yeah.
Kendrick's MO has never been to make music for other people.
Yeah. He's like, this is for me.
Type shit.
I love that. I also think
I'm not even a Kendrick fan, if I'm being honest with you. I don't even like Kendrick all that much.
I think that for me personally, when I think of like the Super Bowl, I'm a big fan of, again, the production. So I will say the production part of it was very beautifully put together. But like when, for example, I watched the Shakira halftime show when I don't feel like doing cardio, because I'm like, these girls literally were up there 14 minutes straight, shaking their booties, dancing, singing at the same time. Yeah. And the crowd was like eating that up. So I just think it was different. It was not my favorite.
Also, the cultural impact of that particular Super Bowl with like the kids in cages and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, like
I really did like
Benito was in that halftime show too.
Yeah, that he was. I remember. That was like that was I think the same year that I saw Bad Bunny here at the TCC.
Wild.
The tiny TCC, and now this guy has freaking stadiums sold out.
Shit. Yeah, I know. I saw him in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
All
right, well, we're getting ready to wrap up. I'm going to ask you one more question. How did you change the direction of your life as a young cricket to more recently? A young Grillo. One thing that you could be like, this, if I look back now, this is the way that I changed the trajectory of my life. Because we can talk about, we can't right now because we don't have time, but we can talk about your upbringing. But I feel like there was definitely.
I think that the best advice that I can give anybody, or like something that really changed my life, was you're the one that's like responsible for your own happiness. You cannot do anything like outside of you, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's a great answer.
Yeah, like you doing what your parents want you to do is not going to make you happy unless it's genuinely what you want to do. You know, your North Star for your life choices and decisions needs to be something within you. And you need to follow that.
I love that.
I think that until you do start following that, you're going to be like dando de golpetazo, like every single corner, every single turn, until you finally land on like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do what makes me happy, because if not, I'm not going to be happy. And the people around me aren't going to be happy. And when you start doing that, everything around you adjusts and you start attracting the right people.
I love that. And
then secondarily, just like positive self-talk, self-affirmations, vision and goals. Like envision what it is you want to do. And then lastly, I'm going to say just discipline. Actually fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? Stop just sitting at home with your fucking affirmations of like, I am this, I am that.
Okay, go be that.
Yeah, that like exactly. That productivity rain dance is so bullshit if you're not doing shit about it. Just do the shit that you said you're gonna do.
Yeah. I think I'll piggyback on that to finish up on the talk of kind of like manifestation. This is the first year that I've done like a vision board. And I've always thought, like, how is a vision board going to help me accomplish these things? And for me, it's been obviously visually on my phone, visually seeing everything every single day and reminding myself, what am I doing every single day that is aligning with the stuff that's on my vision board? Because there's no point, like you said, to manifest this whole thing and not do anything behind it.
It's true.
Thank you for spending time with me today.
Just woke up from a dream.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, everywhere. I'm Erick Grillo everywhere. ERICK, Grillo, GRILLO. Go watch my music videos on YouTube. Go listen to my music on Spotify. That's the best way you can support me, is just go on Spotify or Apple Music and listen to my music and share it.
I love that. I love that you said this is the best way you can support me, because that's a good reminder. You guys know where to find me. All things @GP on Instagram. I will see you guys next Tuesday for another episode. Have a great weekend. Be safe at the Tucson Rodeo. Bye.